Good morning, Eric. How are you? Yeah, that's going to be a great topic on time blocking. Okay, something I just wanted to say briefly as a reminder, because we talk about this and it matters because we've come back to it. The path of least resistance doesn't work. And so it's very appropriate before we get on a phoning call to talk about this, how to get appointments. Now, we all know that some people have gotten appointments because they sent a LinkedIn contact or there was an email or something like that. Clearly, there have been appointments that have been gathered through networking. I certainly don't want to take a fully dismissive idea that you can't get appointments in certain ways, because we all know you can. And if I did take that stance, then I'd have somebody just trying to prove me wrong and show me that they can get appointments in other ways. What I will tell you is by the time you get all of your emails or LinkedIns or whatever ready to go and you send them out and you desperately hope and going back to check that you're going to get some sort of a response, which turns into a no response, which turns into I'm irritated because why are you sending this to me? I'm sick of getting these emails or these texts or whatever it might be. That turns into trying to reach somebody that's really dispassionate and not interested. In order to get the appointment that you have, you could have actually just done the traditional route of doing the prospecting the way we teach it, get on the phone. You probably would have had 3 yeses by the time you even get, in fact, you probably would get 6 yeses by the time you get one of those. So what do people do? Why are these books, which were popular, that really I haven't seen one come out for a while, but it's never make a cold call for the rest of your life, email, LinkedIn, passively, get your way all the way to the top. Listen, if that's the way that people were really highly effective in what they did, then everyone would be successful, but everybody tries to do that. And the reason that it's not is because most people are not willing to do the actual things that it takes to get the job done in order to be effective. So again, I don't want to make it sound like there's not several different ways that a person can be effective. And in fact, if you're doing the full on going for it and getting your traditional 3 yeses the way that you normally would by normal prospecting and getting on the phone where you're making 12 to 15 dials to get 3 decision makers on the phone, where you're going to have one of them say no, one of them say yes, one of them say maybe, and that's going to take about a 15-minute period of time, repeating that process 3 times over. So you're making between, whatever would be 36 to 45 phone calls, and you're getting about 9 people on the phone that are actual decision makers through that process and getting 3 yeses. That's the way you get it done. And not fearing that and knowing that your competition is going to be out there not doing what you do. Your competition is going to be out there wanting to take the path of least resistance. They're going to want to find a simple way just to get online and click a couple of different buttons for people to make them rich. Remember, this is what happens in networking quite often, is you go to a networking group and you must remember that if your networking group has 15 people in it, you have 14 people there, unless you're also the same, who did not go to help other people become wealthy by sharing their resources. They all went there for the other people to share the resources with them, so they're the one that can become wealthy. That is generally what it is. Now, I know there's more refined organizations like BNI where, givers get, and it's really all about sharing, and it's a little bit more numeric and all that kind of stuff. Definitely, I understand that. There can be some good things. But they run their course. And if you ask yourself, how much did I actually get out of going to all of those ribbon cuttings and being a part of this and being in those meetings? I just added up the time that I spent in the past year. And you know what? I ended up spending 45 hours doing all sorts of things related to my network group. What could I have done in 45 hours of phoning? I can tell you what you would have done. You would have gotten about 150 yeses if you spent 45 hours phoning. 150 yeses, okay? Look at the income that you just passed up. $180,000 in income passed up so you could spend 45 hours doing something that maybe generated 1 or 2 appointments. Just keep it in mind. I'm not telling you to fully abandon ideas like this. I am not. And if you're highly effective in other ways that people aren't, and you add it to your arsenal of greatness, then that's smart. This is one of the things that we always keep in mind, is that a reasonable conversation with a reasonable person about a reasonable topic provides a reasonable outcome. And if somebody reasonably shows me that, hey, I sold 1.5 million last year and I have $400,000 worth of sales that came through networking, do you know what I'm going to say to them? Good, keep doing it. But most people are going to say, hey, you know what? I sold $600,000 last year and I sold $20,000 from networking and it cost me 45 hours of my time. I'm going to say, well, you can do what you want to. You're an independent contractor, but that doesn't seem like a good use of your time. So let's just keep these things in mind as you're generating the results and you're looking for those outcomes, and you are fearless about doing things that most people don't feel like doing, because the key to success is doing what you don't feel like doing. Irrefutable. It's never been debated by anyone. That is absolutely the key to success. So let's make sure today is successful, and we've got this great combination of Eric and Eric. I'm going to turn it back to you.